looking chart. Consolidation. Just had earnings. Breaking over the earnings VWAP. Fastly. Space. Hey, remind me next week and we'll build a scanner together as a room. We'll take all of the credentials we want and build something out for it.
What's up, players? We are down to the nitty-gritty of the day, half hour left. We got one play left, and if you want to join us, it's just the lotto play. We have been kicking major ass on this lunar trade now going on for 3 weeks. Still in it, rolled out of the options today. We had the 1450s, had the 13s to start this whole move. 20 cents yesterday, sold them at 40, 60, 80, 120, 160, and 180. Today we had the 1450s for 20, sold them at 40, 60, 80, and the rest at around 40. And now we're in what's called the lotto play, which the reason we call it the lotto play is usually you're going to make 2 or 3x or you're going to lose it all. And that would be the 1550 calls on the lunar right now. Doesn't look good, but last Friday this thing ran $1.50 into the close. So kind of what we're looking for. But if you were with us this week, right now what you're looking at on the left here or the right, I don't know, left or right. That's my buddy Solid screen, my face. But just to recap, if you guys are on the email list, which I think you are, you would have been hip to some of these trades like QBTS from yesterday, 190, bought it in the aftermarket yesterday, $2, $2.10, $2.15, held it overnight because right now what we're in the midst of is a 1999 style keyword algorithmic rippage. Now, what the hell does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that stocks are being bought just because of the name of the company. Yes. Just like 1999. Guy shot a gerbil through a cannon, gerbil in a cannon through a bullseye. What the hell was that all about? I don't know. That was a funny commercial. What's the name of the company? I don't know. Siberian Outpost. What's the symbol? Cool. I'm in. Next thing you know, the stock would go up 300%. We are back in that environment right now. So the king of all the quantum stocks right now, you'd have to say IonQ, I guess. That was the one that really exploded. So now everybody's looking for that same type of momentum, that same type of idea, that same type of stock. So the chart pattern that IonQ came out of is what we call the Andy Dufresne. So I just went looking over the last couple of days, and about a week ago, I found QUBT. Same type of thing. Stock was left for the dead, coming out of the bottoming pattern. Comes out of the bottom pattern, stocks get squeezed. The shorters tend to reload because usually these stocks get pumped once and then they roll over. But when they don't want to die, they remain a buy. And this thing has been pumped now 6 different times since we've been in. We're out of the core position right now. We're pretty much done with this trade, but you want to keep revisiting these names because now it's done. You know, it's got to $6.30 today. That was the pipe dream of the trade. And again, the reason we were thinking it could go back to $6.30 was just because, you know, there were highs going back. I think it was the yearly high for the stock. And when these things get momentum, they tend to go back to significant areas. And I believe, what was it, the 2-year high on this one, maybe? Oh, maybe even 3-year high. Geez, that's how dead these names have been. Yeah. Oh, there it is. It was the high print from 11/21/21. So we're talking 3 years. So incredible. And again, If you ask me if this thing was going to go there, I'd probably say, maybe, because, at $3.50, we were already excited about the trade from 2 days ago. But, today it dipped, it ripped. And I was short the stock at the beginning of the day because it broke VWAP, gave me an opportunity to short it. And then, knowing that we're in this bubblicious market, you cannot stay short of anything, especially these momentum names. And these momentum names, I'll give you some of these lists to if you don't know the list by now. QUBT, QBERT, and then you got QBITS, which is QBTS, which is the real monster today. Stock's up 50%. The only reason we're buying it was because it's in the quantum computing space. We did well with IonQ. We did well with QBERT. Let's buy QBITS. And, I was looking at 271 as my main target. By 271, I was pretty much done with this trade. Anything above 271 is still bullish because, if you look at this one on a 3-year chart, you just came out of the Andy Dufresne, you could be looking at, $3.31 on this thing. And then if it breaks through that, you're talking about $5.35 on the stock. So a lot of interesting plays. And then, of course, going back to the idea of what I was just saying, people are looking for stocks. And I know this sounds ridiculous, but they're buying stocks because of the names. And the price is validating your idea. You don't want to buy just some stagnant stock that's just sitting there. Like there was a company called Quantum QNTM, Quantum Biopharma, probably has nothing to do with quantum technology at all, just the name of the company. But look what it did. You found buyers today. There's no coincidence that this stock probably went up from, $5 to $5.60 on relatively no volume because of the name of the company right now. And if you don't want to trade that way, start trading that way. Irrational exuberance is all right as long as you know you're being irrationally exuberant. Inevitably, most of these stocks will roll over and go back to zero. And when that happens, we'll be on the right side because these are just trades for us. But man, as long as you know, and again, even the Lunar we were in from 8 and change, thing ripped to 1150, numbers were good, stock plummeted that morning from 15 all the way back down to 10 and change, went back to 985, and then we did the trade all over again. So even when they get dumped, they seem to be coming back. Now, again, like I said, the warning I want to put out there, if anybody's holding these overnight, I'm not. Now they all have options. So Lunar, I don't have the stock anymore. I'm in the 1450s for next week. So that's how I'm playing it. So the way to protect my gains on these names is now I'm not in any of the stocks. Even QBERT and QBITS, they have options. So at least if these do roll over and go to zero, if you're buying options, you're only exposed to what you're paying for on the options. And then, going down the list of some of the names. And if you're not on my email list, get on my email list. I do a little brief, how you doing in the morning and give my stock plays for the day, the ones that you want to watch. If you guys are in Humana from the 257 from 3 months ago, we cashed out. I cashed out of most of it above 300. That was our goal. I still think we're getting another 20 points out of it. So if you want to hang in there, I just want to let you know I'm done with 80% of that trade. I'm still in the PayPal, loving the PayPal. Even bought a little bit more today. I think we're going to finally break out next week. We get through the 88. We should get to 92. 92 should get us 102. And let's see. We're running out of time on these lotto plays. But, I might buy the stock Lunar again into the close because, again, with the lotto play, it's really about time. We're running out of time. Because even if it gets back to the 1550 and we only got 20 minutes left. But, the stock might get to the 1550 and we could play the stock itself. But very good trading on Lunar, short, long. It's been a pretty active trade. So going into next week, QUBT, here's another one, Rigatoni, RGTI. We did all right with that one today. Take a look at that chart. That's quantum computing. QBTS, this one, QMCO, now on the list. And my new pal, SMR. Take a look at this chart. Normally, I am looking to short these stocks when I see charts that have gone parabolic like this. Not in this market. Not in this market. Irrational exuberance is the way to go. You see the stock? I don't care that it was $1.88, broke out from 17, and now it's 27.50. Breaks 27.50, stocks go to 30. Stocks that go to 30, generally you're going to look at 35. You're going to be looking at this thing. This is going to be a $50 stock. I don't even know what it is. I know it's nuclear energy, but keep your eye on this one. These pullbacks keep getting bought. Same thing with OKLO. This one's been on our list for quite some time. And, as a bear living in a bull market that never ends, remain skeptical. That's the way to stay focused. I remain skeptical on all these names, and they keep proving my skepticism to be wrong. My bearishness is wrong. So I'm just embracing the irrational exuberance and jumping in on these names. So, that's the name of the game right now. Hope you guys had a good week. It's been, yesterday was possibly top 5 days in history of my website. The activity, the enormity of some of the percentage gains. We had 2 9-baggers, meaning 9 times your money. Pretty awesome. Usually you'll find one of those a month. You're getting opportunities now, especially with the 0-date options, this market, which is just basically a buy on every dip. There is just opportunity abound, and we're just always right there in the right place at the right time. And when this market does roll over, and again, I'm not saying anything about being bearish. Most of the hedge fund guys I talk to have still money that they need to put to work. Still bullish. And, I'm not going to get in the way. And my bearishness has gotten me in a lot of trouble. Now I'm embracing the bull. You want to run $2 stocks to $12? I'm in. Let's go. But I'm not going to be foolish about it and get a little bit, overzealous. I'm definitely not holding positions over the weekend. But like I said, these stocks they've created option chains on them. So now you could take a lot less risk and still have the potential to make some really nice money. So, go back to this QBTS. There's nothing not to like here. It's hard to want to still embrace a stock that was 68 cents. But look, it went from 68 to 240. And then it went back to 85 cents and now back to over the 240. That's super bullish. There's no denying it. So that is super bullish. And if this consolidates now above the 250 breakout, the 243 breakout from March, if it consolidates above that breakout area, where are you going to go? You'll probably head it to $5 on this one also. So just keep your eye on these. And if they dip and they get bought again, remember, the dips on these momentum stocks convince the longs to get out, obviously, but more importantly, the shorters. And I know how they think. They're waiting to crush the Lunar, the Qubits, the QB, every one of these stocks. They're looking to kill them, right? Because they see them at 65 cents and they're all trading 10x from where they were just months ago. So the shorters are just going, okay, when do I strike? When they strike and it doesn't roll over, now they're caught. So they have to cover, and that encourages the buyers to get involved. So now you have twice as much buying as you normally would. So you got the short covering and the people that are just buying dips, or the people that still like the name that might have sold out and they want back in. And that's why these stocks keep feeding on themselves and the momentum keeps showing up, and you just got to keep trading them. So, just awesome. And then today, that trade that I explained hasn't failed. We have a trade that's a setup. And again, it's not about the Lunar or the Qubits or momentum stock. This trade is called the 1-minute break. This is just gap reversion at its best. And the funny thing is the stock was gap. So this morning, the first trade that you looked at today, past the Lunar and the Qubits and all these fun little $2 stocks, was this trade. So again, the anatomy of this trade, if you see it on the screen right there, what you're looking at is basically just a fade. Anytime you have a stock that gaps up on earnings, if it breaks VWAP, that usually triggers the profit taking. So we know that. You know that now. So if you just focus on stocks that report earnings and just short them around VWAP, again, gapped up stocks, short them at the VWAP, use those highs as you're out. Yesterday we had one that didn't work. It never really got anything going. That was the snow. But look what happened today. Today you had that follow through to the downside. Yesterday there was no follow through. So you had to take some small losses. And again, if you're trading at VWAP, that's another benefit of trading at or around VWAP. When you're wrong, you're taking small losses. But when you're right, you're making massive gains. And that's the nature of the business. Risk reward, identifying trades, and being able to manage those trades accordingly. And that's all about price and prior day VWAP and prior price. So I hope you guys had a really good week. If you have not embraced what we're doing, when you join our website, we give you two free weeks to kick the tires, see what we're all about. If you find us to be, not your cup of tea, which is, it's hard to believe if you do, because we're pretty much the most active trading group on the internet. We're very specific. It's all about price. We trade as if we're algorithms. It's not about these companies. It's not about what they do. The word EBITDA is banned from my website. We don't even talk about earnings per share. The only reason we watch earnings reports is because that's where there's more volume, and we trade volume weighted average price, VWAP. And it is probably the most amazing thing I've ever witnessed in my life. And when I say that out loud, I always qualify it with how ridiculous it sounds that we have a trade that hasn't failed in 2 years. It's stupid. It's stupid just to even say that out loud. I feel bad right now. I feel icky. I feel weird, but it's true. It's true. This specific setup, gapped up, first VWAP break, usually you get paid. And then quite often, what I'll show you next week is if you actually have a target when you use prior day VWAP. Some people call it anchored VWAP, but I anchor my VWAP to prior day VWAP. And what I found by experimenting with this from the last 10 years is that when you get the momentum through the VWAP, you tend to gravitate or revert back to prior day VWAP. So you basically have your entry. You know what stock because they reported earnings. You have your entry, which is the 1 minute, and you have a target, which is prior day VWAP. There isn't anything left to do other than hold on and, get involved and hold on. All right, hang on a second. I'm buying some Lunar into the close here. All right, some big size is starting to show up on the offer. That makes me want to buy. All right, I'm in. I don't care if that, and again, I got 10 call. I got 20 options. That's $100. So now I need to make $100 to pay for that trade. So I'm buying some stock here, 15, 17, 15, 18, 15, 19, 15, 20. All right. I'll give it the 18 cents. Let's see what happens here at the close. We only got 10 minutes. But I think this is going to be, again, I still very, very bullish going into the end of the year. Think about what this market has shown us in the last 6 or 7 days. We had 1 day of selling last Friday. Nobody's been selling anything ever since. All we've seen is a market that attempts to go down, the buyers are there. Attempts to go down, the buyers are there. And inevitably, it's going to break out. So I think we're going to see all-time highs on the Qs by, next week. So I'm coming in bullish. And then if you're around and I'm not hungover on Friday, I probably have some cousins sleeping over. My whole family is going to be here. Usually everybody crashes at my house. Usually we sleep till 10, 11 o'clock. My kids are finally coming home. It's going to be everybody under one roof. But if you guys are around, I don't normally trade the day after Thanksgiving. It's usually just a gap up day and we just sit around, do nothing. It's a shortened holiday day. If you guys are around, we could use that as a quick review over what happened this week. I like doing that. Usually I do that on Saturday with my website guys. I usually do 4 or 5 times a year. I get together on Saturday just to do a review of what's been going on. I guess I should have bought some Qs too. Wow. But going back to the market in general, right? I have defaulted now to just not shorting anymore. I'll short earnings fades, but I'm done shorting the market. I just look at every pullback as being cute that it's time to buy. And you just witnessed it right now. I don't know if you guys, let me show you my charts too. I'll show you my chart. It's so when you just trade VWAP and you start to see how blatant some of these pullbacks are and where they go to. So here, right there, this is the Qs. Let me get rid of the red lines so you don't get confused. But, what you're looking at on the chart, if this is the first time you're seeing my charts, dotted orange line is prior day VWAP, blue line is today's VWAP. We basically just lived here all day. There really wasn't anything. All the selling was contained at prior day VWAP. And now you can't even get under today's VWAP. So the VWAP trader, right, who buys at VWAP as support, that's a pretty amazing trade. Now, again, most of us can't afford to buy 1,000 shares of a $505 stock. So what you do is you use those 0-date options. This is the perfect opportunity, especially late in the day and you're just doing some gambling. Why not buy a $500 stock that can move $1, right? So here, take a look at these options. So the QQQ, the 505s right there. And again, these guys are already buying it, I'm sure. 505s for today, right? So you could chart them right on the chart. They broke the low of the day. They came right back. They were 30 cents, and now they're going to be 90 cents. So that's a 300% gain right there, just coming off the VWAP. And apparently you did this trade. Good for you. I'm good. I'm glad you're watching. Somebody did that trade. See, I'm wasting my money with this lunar. Meanwhile, you're kicking ass on the Qs. But if you just did the Q trade, this is why you're here, because the market, I know it sounds silly, but the market never goes down. So anytime you get a chance to buy at VWAP, it's been a pretty good idea. And just right here, as we're sitting here, that's just 7 minutes. And that's 100% gain on an option trade, if not more, maybe. If this thing rips and starts getting over 506, it's just absolutely insane to even short this market for any time frame recently. I mean, if you guys remember Friday, we actually sold off for almost like the whole day without any real covering. So that happened. So now you had your one day. Hang on, I'm buying more lunar right now. I know we only got 7 minutes, but I don't care. All right. Now, if you're in the queues, all right. Stop texting me. I get it. You're in the queues. But if you're in the queues right now, you see how you're getting back to the peak? You sell right here, half your position, because the market just did what it wanted to do. It wanted to go revisit its old friend right here. And if you got some lunar with me, I'm going to start selling a little bit of 15 and a quarter because we're running out of time. So I'm offering out 15 and a quarter. I just bought 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. It's not a big trade, but I'd rather make money than lose money. I was really hoping this thing would rip into the close, but obviously we got 6 minutes left. I doubt this thing's going above 1560. But that, my friend, is just pure algorithmic wonderfulness, right? Holds the VWAP, rally back to where you came, right? Sell up there because that's where the sellers were before. That's where the sellers are now. Once you understand the market mechanics, it becomes the same shit every day, all the time. Identify the trade. Hey, I could buy the Qs down here with very limited risk. All right, we're going. Now we're ripping. Now we're ripping. Now you're ripping. Now you're ripping. Now you got them 505s and you're thanking God that you got them. And now you're regretting that you sold some at 65 and 80 because now they're $1.25. How you doing? Now you sell another couple of contracts. Don't get too greedy because that was the move you were waiting for. Blue line, orange line, prior day VWAP. And that's why you buy in the money options. Because again, if you bought the 506s and you didn't get this $1.50 move, you probably wouldn't have made anything. We go buy the 505s to make sure you get something out of it. And this lunar sucks. Come on. Right back to where I bought it. All right. But good job on the Qs. $0.80. Very nice. So anyway, make sure you have my list next week. These stocks are probably going to remain hot. There's no reason to not think that. And when they do roll over, they'll probably be really nice shorts. Qubit, QUBT. Like I was saying you before, it presented itself as a nice rollover earlier. There's the VWAP break. I got paid on this trade. And then you got your faux, show, bro. I was a little bit late on this one. I wound up giving it a shot back at, 575 to 6 for a quickie. And the rest of this lunar sucks. Time we got? We only got 4 minutes. But here, I want to show you this Luna trade for next week. It's really important. I mean, again, I'm losing a little bit of money on this trade, but I'm not too concerned. What I really like seeing is it closing at new highs. All right, so you broke the pre-market highs from the earnings day, and now you're closing. Well, hopefully we close above 15, which will now be, here's your yearly chart, yearly highs. So when that goes across algorithms, Lunar hit yearly highs. It's in a new realm now. It gets noticed by new algorithms because it's a new high list now. So now you go look at where this thing's been for the last 2 years. Well, here's the 3-year chart. That's why I love this stock. This is the most bizarre chart I've seen in a while because it's real. The stock came out of the SPAC and went to 136. That's factored in there. So here's the Kardashian bottom break. There's the, Andy Dufresne into the Kardashian bottom break. And now you're up in this realm over here where now you're getting into candles from when it was crashing back in 2023. So now that you're in these monstrous candles, you could have monstrous moves. And that's why I think the stock's going to 1975 to test that area right here. And if you get through 1975, I don't want to get, I don't want you, put some crazy thing in your head that this thing's going 136, but I could see it going $28. So that's why I'm still a fan, and I will be a fan until this thing is back under 985 and 935. So to me, I don't own the stock. Like I said, I'm in next week's calls. But the way I look at it, we're risking a couple of dollars for a stock that could double again. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. And it's the space you want to be in right now. Space, rockets, robots, AI. Speaking of that, I got another one for you. It was one of our picks when the AI boom started. AI. And yeah, I actually don't know if this is an AI stock, which is kind of the joke. It's C3 something AI. It doesn't matter. The symbol is AI. It woke up. And if it breaks out next week, if it gets over this little peak, which was around 30, I think 38, you're probably tacking on 10 more points. So keep this one on the radar also. Obviously, PayPal, nice trading going into the close. Still got the PayPal long. Looking for 103 next week. And if you traded those Qs along with me, the Lunar turned out to be a small loss. I just sold most of it. And we got 8 seconds, so make your decisions. And you all have a great weekend. Solid Yellow got you on those. I held it into the close. Hold on a second. Yeah, man. So yeah, if you haven't joined the website, like I said, we're coming out of earnings season, but we're going into a very bullish part of the year. And when there's no earnings, we just go right back to our core list. And right now, my core list is all about space, rockets, robots, and AI, which everybody realizes at this point, that's where you want to be. Energy and oil starting to peak up. Straza this morning was talking about some solars. They actually did have some follow through. It's about time. Some of these stocks are so dead, but I want you to keep your eye on this one. This stock hasn't had a 3-day rally in 2 years. So today it made a little stand. This is SEDG. I'm thinking it's going to 0, but one of these days it's going to, I guess today it really did a lot of what I thought it was going to do. 10 got you back to 12. But if this thing could break 12.10, you might have a shot of having maybe a little bit more out of it. You could get to 14, 15 bucks on this one. And yeah, that's roughly it. I got Lyft on the radar still. I'm liking my Lyft now that it pulled back. Big fan of OKLO. Big fan. Waiting for this thing if the breaks 28. This thing's going into the 30s, possibly 50 bucks. There's just so much bullishness, which kind of frightens me. And I'm feeling still pretty bullish. And when everything's working, I still look at that as a negative. Right now, day trading is working phenomenally, sticking with the VWAP. Swing trades are working and investments are working. It's like the perfect storm. And your Bitcoin stuff is working and your crypto's working. Something's going to give. And I don't know if we're going to have like 2018 Christmas Eve massacre like we have. I don't know if you remember that, when we actually sold off hard on Christmas Eve, which we just never do. Maybe they're going to pull it. It's been 5 years. Maybe they're going to try to pull one of those again. I don't know. It just seems like every stock, every chart I look at looks like there's reasons to buy opposed to reasons to sell. And that's my 2 cents, my man. Have a great weekend. Be careful out there. Stay healthy. It's the greatest time to be alive. So stay healthy so you can enjoy it. All right. Have a good weekend, y'all. And like I said, you join our website, you get 2 weeks to kick around, see if we're full of shit, if you like what we're doing. Again, we're predominantly day traders, but when swing trading and holding some stocks is warranted, I'm the first one to join in. You know, why not? Right now, because there's just a massive amount of buying going on basically everything. And by the way, this QUBT, see this close? Running, just closing strong. I mean, this stock was 68 cents. It's at $6 now. You know, something's going to give, but they keep buying it. So just stick with it. And these levels, all these pivot points from today, that'll be factored onto next week's VWAP. And again, we'll see. You know, like I said, I shorted this one today before I went long. It's a great. It's a great environment. It really is. And if you're not familiar with VWAP, come and show. I'll show you what it is, because I don't use anything else anymore. No stochastics, no Bollinger Bands, no clouds, no moving averages. It's just the price of the stock and VWAP. And I call it multiple time frames. Some people call it anchored VWAP. Mine are anchored just to prior day. So I just call it multiple day VWAP. And that's all I have on my chart. So the red lines, the prices are where they've pivoted, and blue and orange lines. And I keep it as simple as you can. All right. It's good hanging out. Hope you guys made some money on that Qubits. Hope you guys were on my email list. That was my number one play of the day. Stock went up 50%. So congrats if you were involved. If not, I'll find you some more. I've been doing this 30 years. Y'all have a great weekend. See ya. Red lines are just price. Yeah, those are the prices that stocks have pivoted from, to and from, or highs of the day. I like buying stocks when they break highs. So here's the 930 high candle. You know, I should have been buying Qubit right here at the orange line and the blue line and this pivot point, but I didn't buy it until it broke the high of the day, because then all this is telling you that this was just fuel for the fire. And then it broke $5.30 again. I was in. Well, you don't see my charts now, but yeah, the sideways lines, the red lines are just me drawing the lines. And like I said, if I am feeling up to it on Friday after Thanksgiving, I'll do a little mini class with you, because the market's usually just gaps up and sits there. It's usually a very bullish day. We just gap, we go a little bit higher, and then we close. So if you guys want to just talk some shop, go over some stuff like that. We'll do that. Yeah. Well, that lunar lotto was my only loss today, and I lost like $80 just now on the stock. But I'm glad it didn't really go, because now I know when it breaks 1455, it's going to be off to the races. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, no, Wednesday. Market's closed Thursday. But yeah, generally you buy the stock. If you're going to gamble, yeah. Most of the time, as far as I know I can look at the almanac and see if I'm right about it, but statistically in my brain, it's usually just a gap up day and then we just go up and close. But yeah, so if the market's down on Wednesday, then it's a no-brainer. You buy Friday's options. Again, it's still not the best trade because you're still buying an expiring option 2 days before it expires. Usually just wait for that morning. But listen, I mean, that Qubits was something. If you guys were here for the first time last night, right? That was my stock. I was buying it last night live with you guys. Right? It was like the only one left that I could think of that hadn't gone completely parabolic yet. I mean, Qbert's annoying at this point. I can't believe where it went. I traded it for a 20-cent move. And I figured, all right,